Let's work with dataset D7. Imagine that this is a psychological survey where you have some questions for your participants. You ask them about the age, gender, and then you have two scales. This is scale 1, which has 5 items, and this is the next scale, which has 6 items. I suggest to start with Cronbach's alpha. Analyze, scale, reliability analysis. Here you send the 5 items for your first scale to this box. Click on statistics and then click on scale if item deleted. Continue. Okay. We see that the alpha is very low, is not acceptable, and also item 3 has a strong negative correlation with the total score. This means that something is wrong with item 3. In this case, nothing is wrong. This item is a reversed keyed item, reverse scored item. So the rest of the items are positively worded, and this item is negatively worded. So when you start calculating your variables, the first thing to do is to reverse score the items that need to be reverse scored. And this is the only item that needs reverse scoring in this data set. Item 3 of the first scale. How can we solve this problem? Analyze descriptive statistics, click on frequencies, reset. If you send the 5 items of the scale to this box, then click OK, you see that the scale is from 1 to 7 for all of the items, including item 3. We know that this item needs to be reverse scored, but the rest of items, they don't need to be reverse scored. So how can I reverse score this item? The scale is from 1 to 7. In order to reverse score it, you need to know the scale. So it's from 1 to 7. Click on transform, compute variable. Let's create a new variable, which is the reverse of this variable. So I call it SW3 underline R for reversed. Because it's from 1 to 7, I put 8 here minus, and then find the item, which is here, and click on this arrow. So 8 minus the item. This is how we are calculating a new variable, which is the reverse of this item. Simply, in the new variable, 1 becomes 7, 2 becomes 6, 3 becomes 5, and so forth. And 7 becomes 1. So this simple subtraction here just reverses the variable. And now I can click on OK. If you go back to the data set, you see that there's a new variable here. And this is the variable we created. This is the reverse of this variable. I suggest that you look at the correlation between this variable and your original variable. And the correlation should be exactly -1. And this means that you have done it correctly. Analyze, correlate, bivariate. So you send the original item and the new item, the reverse item, to this box and click OK. As you can see, the correlation is -1, a perfect negative correlation. This shows that this item is the reverse of this item, and you have done it correctly. Okay, now let's calculate the Cronbach's alpha again. You can reset. So item 1, 2, 4, 5. not the original item, but the new item. So you have 5 items and your item 3 is now reverse scored. And make sure that you tick scale if item deleted. Continue. Okay. This time the alpha is 0.85, which is an acceptable alpha, showing acceptable reliability. As you can see, this item has a very strong positive correlation with the total score. This means that your scale is actually a reliable scale, but the only problem was that you needed to reverse score one of your items. Let's say this is a life satisfaction scale, which has 5 items. Now I want to calculate a life satisfaction score and use it in my analysis. Transform, compute, reset. Okay, let's calculate a new variable called life underline satisfaction. And now you can sum the 5 items or you can average them. I usually average them. So mean item 1, if you double click on the item, it goes here. And then you need a comma. Item 2, comma. Not the original item 3, the reverse item 3, comma. Item 4, comma, item 5. And then that's all you need to do. So you are just averaging these 5 items. And this will give you a new variable called life satisfaction in your data set. Click OK and go back to your data set. Here you see there is a new variable called life satisfaction. And now you can use it in your analysis, correlation, regression, t-test, ANOVA, you can use it, right? What about the second scale, 6 items? Let's look at the Cronbach's alpha for these 6 items. Analyze, scale, reliability analysis, reset. So I send the 6 items to this box and scale if item deleted, continue, okay. The alpha is 0.86, which is acceptable. And you see that all of the items have positive and a strong correlation with the total score. So you don't need any reverse scoring here. And all of the items are positively worded or negatively worded together. So you just need to calculate the total score for this scale. You don't need any reverse scoring. Transform, compute, reset. So let's call it NA. You need to give it a name that doesn't have any space or dash, and it doesn't start with a number. These are the rules for naming variables in SPSS. So mean, and an easier way is as far as they are in order. So there are no other variables between your variables of interest. You can use a simple way. NA1 to NA6. So this is basically saying that NA1, NA2, NA3, NA4, NA5, and NA6. So click OK and go back to your data set. Here you see that you have a new variable called NA. So you created 2 variables and both of the scales are reliable. So you have 2 reliable variables here and you can start analyzing them along with your other variables. For example, let's do a correlation analysis, analyze and correlate bivariate, reset, and you can now look at the correlation between these 2 variables. Click OK, and the correlation is negative.